right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Chris Wynn also joining us in studio. We're talking about this new CBA deal in regards to the WNBA that includes a salary bump, other cash compensation increases. Certainly life-changing for a lot of these women that play in the WNBA and for the future of the league. And joining us on the line right now, not only is he an NBA champion, an NBA legend, but he is our coach, and he does a wonderful job, and he has done a wonderful job as the coach of the Las Vegas Aces. That would be Coach Bill Laimbeer. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. Okay, so, Bill, what was your first reaction when you heard about this new CBA deal? What went through your mind?
Well, I'm on the board of governors, so I've been involved in understanding what's going on all the time. But basically, at the end of the day, I've been in this business a long time, 15 years. This is a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the owners of the teams that have made a commitment for the long-term success of this league. And it's a win for the players because they got a substantial increase, not only in contractual money, but also in other aspects like, airline flights, hotels, health and mental health awareness stuff. So all said and done, it's a great deal for everybody involved.
So, Coach, we've had we just had Arielle Chambers from the Bleacher Report that came on, and she looked at this. This is an investment by the NBA, right? You have to look at it as an investment. Do you see it the same way? Do you see this as an investment for the NBA and looking ahead and saying in the end the WNBA is going to be making some money, and that's the way they're kind of looking at this, or am I wrong in thinking that way?
Well, the NBA only has a couple teams involved with us right now. A lot of independents. We're an independent. The NBA does own half the league, though. But overall, this is mostly the burden of the cost falls upon the individual team owners. And moving forward in many ways in this agreement here. But I think also the league, the NBA is Adam Silver is still our main guy for us also. They realize that this is a growing thing. This is a growing sport. Women's professional basketball, women's sports in general, has really stood on their head, as a hockey cliche would say,
right?
And have really come to the forefront. So I think, yes, it's going to grow. How fast it grows still remains to be seen, but the future is pretty bright.
So I'm not really up to speed on financials. We hear some people that maybe, shrug this and say, well, wait a second, is the WNBA, are they making money? I thought they've been losing money. So if somebody comes up to you, Coach, and says, wait a second, the WNBA, I thought they were losing $10 to $12 million every year. How do you justify paying players more money if the league isn't making money? What would you say to them?
Well, that's the investment part that you were just talking about a minute ago. The NBA for giant numbers of years lost huge amounts of money.
Right.
And still does in many teams right now.
Right, that's true. Yep.
And they make it up on the franchise value over the course of years. We're not there yet, but that's the plan, is to, make the franchises valuable. So you lose some money on the short term as long as you've got the pockets to handle it. And make it up on the backside as your franchise value increases, whether you want to sell or maintain that franchise for the future. So I think that's the business model that the men had, for all those years where they got their butts kicked financially, and it's been successful for them. Like I said, this is not going to happen overnight, but this is a long-term investment by all parties.
So, Bill, you brought up, of course, the travel arrangements, the day-to-day operations of teams around the WNBA. And, of course, there's been a lot of discussion about that the past few years, probably the past 10, 15 years, with respect to, teams being able to use private jets and that type of thing. Are you one of those people that's a believer that there should be some type of competitive balance around the WNBA? Or are you someone who says, hey, the owners should be able to do whatever they want and fend for themselves, and if they want to, take care of their team or their players in their way that they want to, they should be able to do that? Are you on board with that, or are you more on, everybody should be on a competitive level evenly?
Yeah, all the above. As a player and as a coach, and as a franchise like Las Vegas, who was very committed to this situation, I'd love to have our opportunity to do whatever we wanted to. It just costs money, as I always say.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also get that that's also an association. It's not a group of individuals trying to beat each other up across the board. It's an association for the good of the long term. So I get the part where you need a competitive advantage you need a softening of cost advantages by certain franchises. There still always will be, But of any magnitude that would give somebody a major advantage, I think that's not going to fly right now.
Because you think about it, the average person that views the WNBA, they think, the Vegas Aces, they should get a huge event. MGM, they have a flock of planes. They can, they could give the Vegas Aces all kinds of great amenities other teams couldn't get. Yeah, that you didn't have, Bill, and say, for example, I don't want to use the Detroit Shock as an example because Detroit, obviously had resources, but maybe when if it was the Tulsa Shock or whatever, or a team that doesn't necessarily have an owner that is this has unlimited resources. You know what I'm saying? You get my point.
Yeah, I get it. That's why the association has their rules, and everybody talks it out, and everybody understands that you can't have one team go off and try to carry a league.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. It has to be all 12. We have 12 teams. All 12 teams have to find a way to work together to be successful. Then it becomes management. You don't go out and buy things like some presidential candidate trying to buy what is billions.
Right.
You have to go out and management wins in the long run.
Wait, so
is that a Bloomberg blast? That was a Michael Bloomberg blast.
Was it Steyer or Bloomberg?
Any of the above.
Okay, cool. Hey, so Bill, does this trickle down to the coaches as well? This pay increase?
No. The coaches are outside of any. A team can pay his coach as much as they want to, or a president, or a general manager, or whatever. There are a few rules for assistants as far as how many you can have, things like that. But the actual salary levels is up to each individual franchise.
So, Bill, I have to ask you one stupid question. Forgive me, and then I know we'll let you go.
It's about Dennis Rodman.
No, it's not about Dennis Rodman.
Brace yourself.
No, it's not about Dennis Rodman. No, but listen, we've been having this debate, Bill, on this show for a long time. What better person to ask than you about this? Do you think there is a Division I men's team out there, maybe a bad D1 men's team, that could lose to a WNBA team? Do you think that's possible? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. The women are very, very talented.
I agree.
I start 6'9", 6'5", in my front court. I have shooters. The physicality is the one thing that would limit our ability to compete. But from a pure basketball perspective, there's no question that the women, and especially the professional women, are outstanding in how they go about their business, their execution. So that what gives us a problem would be that the sheer size across the board of the men. But upsets happen. Can we beat the Kentuckys of the world? Probably not, because of their athleticism is just so superior for men versus women.
And I think that one thing that Brian's not thinking about is the depth. You have a lot of depth on your team, and a lot of these. Let's say, and I said Wyoming, for example, a Mountain West school. I think the Aces would absolutely beat Wyoming right now because you have depth. Wyoming doesn't, and it's just a better. It's just you play better basketball, more ball movement, in my opinion, and again the depth.
And it's better talent. Better basketball players is what the professional basketball is about. They're the cream of the crop.
Sure.
Then becomes the physicality part. But as far as pure basketball players, these are highly skilled professional athletes, top of the world in how they do business.
Well, Bill, listen, I'm going to bring Bloomberg front row to your next Las Vegas Aces game. I'm going to put,
he's gonna have a 32-ounce big. He's gonna have a 32-ounce big gulp and sit and watch your game.
What's that, Coach? I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
There's a whole bunch of billionaires floating around in politics.
Yeah, that's right. Bill, listen, I always appreciate it when you take time to join us on the show. I'm really happy for your players in the league, and we're very lucky. I've said this every time you come on, and I mean it. Vegas is very lucky to have you as the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces. Thank you so much for joining us, Bill. We really do appreciate it.
I really appreciate that, and from what I read in the Detroit papers, we got a new coach coming our way eventually.
That's what I've heard as well. Yes, Detroit. That's what I've heard as well. So we'll see who that we'll see who that's going to be. But Bill, thank you so much again for joining us. Really do appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
There you go. Bill Laimbeer, NBA legend, head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, joining us.
Former Dennis Rodman teammate, as JD pointed out.
I wasn't asking.
He was definitely thinking about asking a Dennis Rodman.
No, not at all.
Or something about Catholicism. Notre Dame.
Maybe a Larry Bird question.
Look, here's the deal.
But
Coach Laimbeer, he's partial to the WNBA. Obviously, he's a coach of the Aces, but I still disagree with this notion. Look, they're two separate things. Men's basketball and women's basketball, they're not the same. So this notion and comparison of teams and saying a bad D1 college college team would lose to a WNBA team. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Listen, we respect Bill Laimbeer's opinion, just like we respect JD's opinion, or Ariel Chambers from the Bleacher Report. I just completely disagree with it. That's all. And, I just think it's a completely different game. The physicality, and Bill Laimbeer actually mentioned it. I think the physicality, I think the women would
it's a
would struggle
major
with that.
factor.
I mean, yeah, obviously against a deep Kentucky team, but an Aces team with 10 guaranteed. They've got 10 players. They're all professional players against like a Wyoming or a San Jose State or a New Mexico who's got 5 or 6, productive players and 3 or 4 guys on the bench. Maybe one's a freshman. Maybe there's an injury occurring. I'm telling you, Brian, the Aces would beat a lot of teams in Division I.
All right.
basketball.
Well, listen, we are going to have we have to move on, but we are going to have Ariel Chambers from the Bleacher Report back on. I want to get into a really good debate with her. We really do appreciate Bill Laimbeer taking some time to join us. And by the way, I mean that he's a heck of a basketball coach. He's done a great job with this Aces team, and they're going to continue to be really good. And the environment's great at Mandalay Bay. It's really a fun time to go to these Aces games, and I am truly happy for these players. I am. I'm happy for these players because they all seem like pretty good people, especially the Aces. I could speak for them. They're fun to talk to. They're fun to interview, and I'm happy for the league. I'm happy for these players. But I'm telling you right now, in 5 years from now, if this league is not making money, it's not going to be the right decision.
You're not going to have to wait that long, Brian. I'm talking about 2 or 3 years from now. The verdict will be out on all this. Yep. 2 or 3 years.
And I'm not so worried about the Aces players. Las Vegas isn't that it's not a very expensive place to live, but L.A., New York, those very, very big cities where the standard of living is extremely high, making $60,000 a year just doesn't cut it. And now they're getting 120 to 140 in some cases.
Well, no, more than that. Yeah.
Well, no, in some cases 220,000, but pretty consistently 120 to 140. Now they can buy. They can probably purchase a house. They have much more discretionary income, and they can survive in those major cities.
Oh, they can. Here's the deal, though, JD and Brian, and you guys know this. They've been going overseas for years, and I think they'll still continue to go overseas because those salaries are still out there for those women players to make, and those leagues actually, for whatever reason in those countries, they do well. So I don't see any reason why they're going to stop doing that and going overseas and playing.
Yeah, no question. Listen, this is a conversation we will continue to have. As I mentioned, we'll get Ariel Chambers back on to talk about this. But anyway, it's a good story for the WNBA. I am happy for our players, and we appreciate Bill Laimbeer taking some time to talk to us about this. All right, when we come back, Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm, the co-creator of Seinfeld, completely freaking lost his mind yesterday. We'll explain, and we have the audio to prove it. We will explain it to you, and we will play that audio, and it has something to do with autograph seekers. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.